Hi, this is Melanie DewBerry. Thank you so much for engaging with me on Facebook when you see these videos. It really matters. No matter what, you're engaging with, difference of opinion, things that you want me to talk about, all of it matters. I love the community that we're developing. If you'd like to hear more in-depth conversations, I do put out a Soul Revelations letter twice a month, and you can sign up for those newsletters either at the top of this Facebook page. If you go at the very top, there's a little thing that says sign up, or you can go to my website, which is melaniedewberry.com, and a pop-up box will come there and talk to you about that. And there's other things on the site that might be relevant for you. I'll talk to you more about that later. So, I've talked about boundaries before. I also have a SoundCloud that's several hours long on boundaries, and I've talked about time before. And I'm going to do my best to bring them together in talking to you about benevolent boundaries. What it is to really have benevolent boundaries. And there's a lot of conversation on boundaries. And in essence, boundaries are how we walk in the world that lets people know how we walk in the world. A lot of times people think about boundaries as the thing that we put around us to keep other people out, or a way to get other people to behave a certain way and keep them in their space. But really, I think of benevolent boundaries as an act of self-love, as an act of self-care. And I call them benevolent because benevolence, first of all, it's one of those luscious words that we don't use a lot, but it's also one of those words that when used in proper context will start to recontextualize how you think about yourself. So benevolence is an act of genuine kindness. It's a gift of kindness, a gift of compassion. And it's usually in association with someone doing something benevolent to someone else. But in the case of benevolent boundaries, it's something I want you to consider giving yourself. Giving yourself the kindness of really being very precious with your mental energy and with your physical resources. Benevolent boundaries are really an act of self-love and self-care. So I'm in my mid-50s. I was hesitating because I wasn't sure if I wanted you to know that, but actually I really don't care. And as I get older, one of the wonderful benefits of growing old, and if you've done your work, hopefully becoming a little wiser, is that you start having incredible clarity about who you are and your voice in the world and what is yours to attend to and what is not. It's kind of amazing. Like, I consider myself a helper, maybe a caregiver of sorts. And there were days just a few days ago, maybe just a year ago, maybe just 6 months ago, where if I'd seen someone drop something, I would have stopped what I was doing to gather their things up with them and give them to them. And that's a lovely, kind gesture to do, and absolutely worthy of you or myself to do. And I noticed the other day, as I watched this young man's wallet just scurry across the grocery floor, that I made not one attempt to go pick it up. And I thought about that. I thought about it for a moment, like I should help him. And then I thought, actually, he's got this. And so when I think about benevolent boundaries, it's really about knowing that it's not my job to take care of everything anymore. That he's got that. That I can send him energy, and I can send him love, or I can send him whatever. Not that he needs a prayer to pick up his wallet, but that everything needs to be touched by me. A benevolent boundary that I've gotten very clear about as I'm heading toward the 60, I'm more toward the 60 than I am the 50, that I don't need to apologize. And I did in a video last week about not saying you're sorry anymore, but just not apologizing in withholding what I say or what I want to do, and asking for what I want, or telling people, yes, we can do that, but no, I will not share a room with you in the hotel, or I'd love to come to your dinner, and give me more context. And a lot of things that I would have apologized for asking, in either actually literally apologizing or not asking at all, and then being disappointed, upset, resentful, or any number of things. So a lot of those kind of negative feelings, resentment, upset, whatever, They're still here, they're still available to me, and they have validity, but they're less in my life because who I am is becoming someone who is benevolent with her boundaries, meaning that I ask for what I want, I know who I am, I speak my voice, I step out of the action, the conversation that doesn't need me to participate in it. And what that does is it gives the concept of time an expansion. It means now that I have more time. And I don't mean that in a literal sense, like in terms of the grains of sand falling down the tube, that I have literal more time. I mean, I do, because I'm not doing that, I'm doing this. But I mean in terms of how I give myself into the world. I am more expansive because I don't need to be and do everything for everyone, nor do I need to withhold because of what someone might think, say, or do. And the truth of the matter is the stories that we make up about what someone might think or do or say, because if we ask for something or don't want something, or the stories we make up are just that, they're just stories. So I'm wanting to give you the concept of benevolent boundaries, and for you to consider for yourself, where are the ways in which I no longer need to participate in the way that I've participated. Not that those ways are necessarily negative or bad, like helping someone pick up their wallet, or running somebody to the airport, or taking on something because you can, or because helping someone carry an emotional load that really is theirs to carry. And it doesn't mean that you can't be there for other people, but to know that you don't have to carry something that's not yours, and what that will give you. It'll give you much more space, much more bend in your own life, the ability to take care of yourself, the ability to spend time contemplating yourself and what you want to give into the world, which makes you much more flexible. It'll give you more time, and I use that word loosely. I mean time and space around how you operate in the world. I'm asking you to consider creating a vow of benevolence to yourself. A vow is a promise that you would probably keep to another person in a heartbeat. But to consider making a promise unto yourself, a promise to be benevolent with your energy, with your thinking, with your voice. And the benevolence piece is to be kind to yourself. If it's helpful for you to say no, or to ask for something that you want or need, that to do that without hesitation and without apology. If it's benevolent for you to be quiet and to not partake of an invitation to go and do something that sounds glorious. You know, I get those too, where you get these invitations to go out, and it's either that or to spend time home alone and be quiet. To give yourself the benevolent boundary to stay home, or to go, but to have a finite time when and how you're going to be there. Without apology. Without apology. To give yourself this over and over and over again, and to find the gifts that it will give you as a result. This is a prayer. This is a living prayer in a way, to have benevolent boundaries, to keep this vow. This is a living prayer of beauty, of your own personal truth, and of what real love, what real self-love is all about. Thank you for being with me. Ehe, matakiase.